Pluto was discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh and was initially considered the ninth planet in our solar system. However, as more was learned about Pluto and other objects in the Kuiper belt, astronomers began to question its planetary status. In January 2005, an object in the outer reaches of the solar system was discovered by a team of astronomers. This object was called Eris and initially considered as a new planet in the solar system. It was also hailed as the 10th planet by some media outlets, which sparked debates among astronomers. However, as more was learned about Eris and other similar objects in the Kuiper belt, questions were raised about what constitutes as a planet. Eris, the so-called 10th planet, was bigger in mass than Pluto and also overlapped in Pluto's orbit. The similarity in size between Pluto and Eris led astronomers to question whether Pluto was truly a planet or if Eris should also be considered one. This fueled discussions among astronomers and eventually led to a monumental change. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union redefined the term planet, which is what led to Pluto's reclassification. The new definition of planet would now require it to firstly be in orbit around the Sun, which Pluto meets this criterion. Next, be rounded in shape due to its own gravity. Pluto also meets this criterion, meaning it's roughly spherical in shape due to its own gravity, pulling it into a balanced form. And lastly, be the dominant object in its orbit. Unfortunately, Pluto doesn't meet this criterion, as its orbit overlaps with other objects in the Kuiper belt and it's not massive enough to be the dominant object in its orbit. Instead, it's part of a population of similar objects in the Kuiper belt. When we say that Pluto's orbit overlaps with other objects in the Kuiper belt, it doesn't mean that Pluto crashes into these objects. Instead, it means that Pluto's orbital path crosses through the same region of space as other objects, but they might not necessarily be in the same exact location at the same time. Think of it like two roads that intersect. Cars traveling on these roads might cross paths at the intersection, but they don't necessarily crash into each other. Similarly, Pluto and other objects in the Kuiper belt follow their own orbits around the Sun, and while their paths might overlap, they don't necessarily collide. There were several factors which contributed to Pluto's reclassification, but the main ones included the discovery of other objects in the Kuiper belt, like Eris, which is similar in size and composition to Pluto, and raised questions about what constitutes as a planet. Pluto's orbit is eccentric and overlaps with other objects, making it distinct from the other planets. Pluto is relatively small compared to other planets and isn't dominant in its orbit because it overlaps with other objects in the Kuiper belt, showing it's not massive enough to have cleared its orbit of other objects. This overlap indicates Pluto's relatively small size and mass, unlike major planets such as Earth and Jupiter that have cleared their orbits. As a result, Pluto is classified as a dwarf planet, meeting only two of the three criteria for a planet: orbiting the Sun and having sufficient mass to assume a hydrostatic equilibrium shape, but failing to clear its orbital zone. Pluto's reclassification as a dwarf planet reflects our evolving understanding of the solar system and the diversity of objects within it. While Pluto is no longer considered a full-fledged planet, it's still a fascinating and important object in the study of our solar system's structure and evolution.